Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Boss Up and Glow Up with Lexi Sample. The videos are back, y'all. I hear you. I know you all like the videos. I just wanted to test it out because I personally feel like people don't sit there and and watch podcasts. They just, tune in the car or while they're cleaning. But you know what? Some of you actually sit there and watch my videos. And you know what? I love you for that. So here we are. The videos are staying, y'all. So you can have the option if you want to sit and watch, or if you want to, just listen to it while you're driving or cleaning. But the videos are back. But today, I want to talk about something that a lot of people are doing right now. It's been trending all over social media, and that is starting your winter arc. Yes, I know it's not winter yet, it's fall, but we got to get in that mindset. You know, summer had us outside. We were maybe drinking a little too much, partying. We weren't in our healthy routines. But, winter is where the glow up is going to happen because it's the quiet season. It's a little chilly. Think about resetting. Think about letting go of all that unhealthy nonsense I was doing in the summertime. Let's get my life together in peace era. Think about the trees in the winter, okay? They look still, but they're storing energy underground and they're getting ready to bloom again for when the spring and the summer come around. And that is us right now. That is us while we're in the wintertime. So grab your tea, light your candle, wrap up in that fuzzy blanket, and let's talk about building our winter arc because this is your personal rebirth season. Okay, so some of you maybe are like, wait, I haven't heard about what this winter arc thing is. What the fuck is winter arc? So let's talk about what it is. And I want you to picture this. So you're the main character in a movie, right? The camera zooms out. Suddenly, we're in that quiet in between chapter, okay? The part where maybe you're not on top yet, but you're grinding, healing, maybe figuring things out behind the scenes. That's your winter arc. It's not the glamorous, it's not loud, nobody's clapping yet, nobody's watching, and that's kind of the whole point. It's you building, you grinding, you glowing in silence because you're not blooming yet. You're rebirthing. You are planning for that time when you bloom. It's about getting it together. So, let's dive into it and let's figure out how the fuck you're going to start your winter arc cuz I'm doing it too. We're doing this together, y'all. This season is not about performing for the world, all right? It is about becoming the version of you that the world hasn't even met yet. Maybe you haven't even met him, her yet. You're not posting your every move. You're not proving yourself to anybody. You're doing the work in complete silence, which is why you're gonna glow up so fast because you're not listening to anybody. No one knows what you're doing. You're doing this all behind the scenes and you're gonna come out on fucking top, okay, y'all? You are saving money instead of spending to impress, okay? You're journaling about what actually matters. You're choosing peace over people pleasing. We're not here to please everybody, we are here to please ourselves. This is the season where you say, you know what? I'm stepping back, not because I'm completely lost, but because I'm focused. And I think that shift is something a lot of us are missing. Society tells you if you're busy, you're not being seen, you're falling behind. What? Your winter arc actually says the complete opposite, y'all. Stillness is progress. Okay? You don't have to constantly be visible to be valuable. You don't have to announce your every single move for it to mean something. When you're in your winter arc, your growth is internal. You're breaking cycles, you're rewriting the whole entire story. You're learning new boundaries, new habits, new priorities. You're building emotional muscle. It's kind of like going to the gym, okay? So when you're going to the gym, you're working on yourself, your body, your progress. You don't see the progress right away, but you're gonna feel the difference once you're working out. It's like you're building that muscle, but it's your emotional muscle. So think about it that way. You're mentally evolving, you're mentally growing. It's just like you're working out. You wanna see those abs? Okay, what about the abs in your brain? It's kind of the same concept, if you know what I mean. And you know what? I know it's uncomfortable sometimes because you're evolving and in silence, and that can feel kind of lonely, especially when you used to be the person that's always on or around people and just constantly available. If lately you've been kind of craving more alone time or you feel a little disconnected from your old friend group, that's not isolation, that's alignment. And you're not weird for pulling back. You may feel like you're being weird because you want to be in silence, but that's not weird. You're not being cold for wanting peace and alone time. You're outgrowing noise. You're outgrowing all that chaos. And that's what happens in our 20s and 30s. We outgrow things that maybe we loved before. And you might even find yourself less interested in gossip, less excited about the same parties, the same clubs, less reactive to drama, even. That's growth. That's maturity, y'all. That's you saying, my energy is way too sacred to be wasted on anything that does not help me evolve and to grow. And I promise you, nothing is wrong with you for feeling that way. You're not being boring, you're being intentional. Because the thing is, every it girl, it boy, whatever you want to call yourself moment starts in that dark moment. Every successful, peaceful, confident version of you gets built when nobody's looking, when nobody's watching. So don't rush your quiet season, y'all. Don't shame yourself for needing rest or for needing distance. The glow up is on the way, it's coming. But right now, we need to do the work. This is your cocoon season. This is kind of where you begin to pull back. You recharge. You prepare to re-emerge as a stronger, softer, wiser version of yourself. So, when I say start your winter arc, I mean give yourself permission to be more low key, to focus on you, to fall back in love with the process, not just the outcome, because it is all about the process. We won't have the outcome without the process. So, don't rush it. Because the best transformations, y'all, happen when nobody's watching, and that is what this is all about. All right, so now that you kind of understand what Winter Arc is and what it's all about, the next step is to actually prepare for it. And that's kind of the process I'm in right now is preparing for it. And that means we have to talk about reflection, release, and recentering. And because you can't step into a new season carrying everything from the old one, okay? You just can't. That's like trying to move into a fresh apartment, but refusing to throw out the boxes from your last place. Like the boxes I'm talking about are from like packages that you just have stacked up. That's just like not throwing those out. Why are we doing that? So, before you start setting new goals or routines, I want you to pause and reflect. You need to ask yourself a few questions. So, a big one is what am I still holding on to from this past year or these past few months that don't serve me anymore? And you need to be honest. You need to be brutally honest with yourself. No filters, no I'm fine energy. No, no, no. It could be resentment. Maybe it's guilt over something you didn't accomplish or you didn't get to. Maybe it's a relationship that you kept trying to save, even though deep down you knew it was time to let that shit go. Or maybe it's the version of you who was doing their best to survive and this isn't meant to lead you anymore. That's a huge one, okay? That's a big one, y'all. Sometimes the hardest thing to release isn't another person, it's an old version of yourself. The one who was stuck in survival mode, the one who settled, the one who accepted less because they didn't know they deserved more. And listen, y'all, releasing doesn't always look glamorous. It's not fancy. Sometimes it's messy. Sometimes it's crying on the floor. It's writing letters that you never send and you just rip up or burn. Sometimes it's unfollowing people you used to care about or blocking people that you used to care about. But that's part of the process. Healing requires honesty. You can't pretend your way into peace. You have to be real with yourself. You have to be strong. You being weak is you hanging on to things that you know you don't deserve. That's you being weak. So we need to strengthen up, build a backbone, and let it the fuck go. I know that sounds harsh. I know that sounds easier said than done. But if you truly love and care about yourself, you'll do it. You'll listen. You're stronger than that. And you know you're strong. You don't want to be a weak bitch, do you? Let it go. So I want you to take a moment this week. Has to be this week, y'all. Sit down with a piece of paper, maybe light a candle, and write down 3 things that you are ready to release this winter arc season. And you don't want to carry this into the new year. Some people think, oh, new year, new me. That's not a thing if you don't start now, because you're going to start the new year the same you. So why don't we start now so we can say, new year, new me. If we start in the winter, build new habits, build new routines, we'll be a completely different person by the new year. And you know what? You'll be able to say new year, new me. But if you don't start this winter arc, you can't say that. You cannot say that. Don't overthink this process, okay? Just write down what feels like it's been weighing on you. And I want you to imagine physically letting that thing go. Maybe you rip up the page. Maybe you burn it safely. Safely. This is how I set a park on fire when I was 17, y'all. Maybe you just close your eyes and say it out loud. I release this thing. This thing no longer controls me. This thing no longer consumes me. Because when you're holding on to pain, it keeps you anchored in the past. And you don't want to stay in the past. You want to move the fuck on, y'all. When you release, you are creating space for something new and exciting and better and inviting for your life to enter. Now, once you've reflected and released all that nonsense that you want to release, the next part is recentering. And this is where you bring your energy back home. You stop outsourcing your validation, your confidence, your peace, and you start finding things within yourself again. Here's more questions for you to ask yourself. What actually makes me feel grounded? What fills my cup when no one's around? Because being recentered is about knowing how to be okay in your own company. It's that peace that doesn't depend on who texts you back or what opportunities are coming next. It's that calm confidence that says, I may not have it all figured out, but I'm safe, I'm growing, I trust myself. And I want to say this, so recentering doesn't mean isolation. It's not about cutting everyone off and just completely going off the grid, disappearing. It's about reconnecting with your truth so that when you do show up in the world, you're showing up as your aligned, healthy self. Wait, what does that mean at the top? 0 minutes? Does that mean my battery's dying? You might find that your priorities shift once you recenter. You might even realize that the things you used to chase don't even excite you anymore. They're not exciting. You might notice that you crave peace more than attention, depth more than distraction, slow mornings more than chaos. And that's what this season is for, returning to your essence, the you underneath all of that noise, the pressure, the expectations. And I promise you guys, no! Sorry, y'all. I had to get up for a second because I was like looking at my camera and it kept saying 0 minutes, 0 minutes, 0 minutes. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? My memory card got full. So I hope everything I just said recorded, but I just put a new memory card in. Let me get to what I was saying. What I was saying is, I promise you, the more you reflect, release, and recenter, the lighter you start to feel. You stop over explaining yourself. You stop clinging on to what's not meant for you. You stop questioning if you're enough because finally you feel enough. So, as soon as you start your winter arc, make reflection and release part of your ritual. Do a weekly check in with yourself. How am I feeling mentally? What am I still carrying? What needs to be released this week? You will be truly amazed how peaceful life starts to feel when you stop dragging on yesterday's weight and yesterday's energy. Because you can't glow up if you're still gripping on the weight of old wounds. Peace requires space. Healing requires stillness. And this season, it's about both. Okay, y'all. Now that you've reflected, you released, and you recentered, it's time to build your winter routine. And when I say routine, I don't mean one of those rigid, Pinterest perfect schedules where if you miss one thing, oh my God, all hell breaks loose. No, this is about building some structure that supports your peace and not stresses you out. Think of it as this: your winter routine should feel like a safe home for your mind, something that grounds you, something that makes you feel like you're taking care of yourself in small, consistent ways, even when life gets hectic. This is your foundation season. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what actually matters. Let's start with the morning. I love the morning. I'm such a morning person, but the way you start the day really sets the tone for everything else and the whole entire day. And I know it's tempting to wake up, grab your phone, scroll through TikTok, or check your notifications before you barely even open your eyes. But I'm telling you, that instantly floods your energy with other people's noise. Your morning should be about you. The first thing that happens when you wake up, you should be focusing on yourself, not anyone else. So maybe first thing when you wake up, don't touch your phone for the first 15, 20 minutes after you turn off your alarm, because you obviously need to touch your phone to turn your alarm off. But start by that. Don't doom scroll, just turn your alarm off. Now, get up. I know it can be hard to not press that snooze button, but something I like to do, I literally count to 5 and I'm like, feet on the floor. Because once my feet touch that floor, I'm up. So I do the feet on the floor method. I do a little stretch. I know we all have to stretch in the morning, or drink some water, make your bed. Making my bed is something I have to do every morning. Maybe it's not the exact first thing I do in the morning, but I definitely do it before I leave the house because your bed is the state of your mind. So make your bed, and then you will feel completely in control for the day. Then do something that centers you. If you have time, maybe journal for 5 minutes. If you don't have time to sit there and write, maybe talk to yourself in the mirror, say your affirmations out loud, or maybe it's just going to Dunkin' and getting your favorite coffee or something. Just you need to make that little moment about you before you rush into doing the day. You know? And if you're not a morning person, that's totally okay too. Not all of us are morning people, okay? But you can still create mindfulness. It's about energy, it's not about time. Now we need to talk about your daytime slash afternoon flow. This is your show up for yourself part of the day. And I know we all have responsibilities. We have work, we have school, we have families, we maybe need to run errands. But the goal this season is to move on from alignment and not have anxiety, okay? I mean, you can't just say get away anxiety, but less anxiety, okay? Ask yourself before you start your tasks, why am I doing this? Is this the aligned version of me I'm becoming, or is this the old version of me? Because productivity means nothing if it's not connected to purpose. Something that really helps me is breaking my day into blocks, not perfection. This is for your peace, okay? Give yourself time to focus deeply, but also schedule intentional breaks. Go outside and get some sunlight. We all need vitamin D, even though it's chilly outside. We need the sunshine. We need it. Move your body, even if it's just for a walk or stretching or even just a 10-minute little YouTube video workout. You gotta move your body. You have to. And you need to fuel yourself with food that actually is giving you energy instead of draining it. Think about warm soups, herbal teas, whole foods that make you feel comfort but are still nourishing your body. And hydrate, I know that sounds so basic. I know. But half of our problems literally start because we're dehydrated and exhausted. So many of our problems are from dehydration, and we don't think about it like that, but it is. Then we have our evening. I love a good evening routine, okay? This is the sacred slowdown, y'all. I am a firm believer on your nighttime routine is your next day's foundation. So try not to end your day in chaos. Don't fall asleep mid scroll. Don't go to bed with a cluttered mind. Start signaling to your body that it's time to wind down. Maybe that looks like doing your skincare, putting on cozy PJs. I love a good PJ set. I know it's not nighttime, but I love a good PJ set. Okay. Turn down the lights, put your phone on D&D. I love D&D. My phone goes on D&D at 8 p.m. every night. I know that's early, but I don't want to be bothered. Or playing calm music or journaling out your thoughts and reflecting on your day. So ask yourself a few grounding questions like, what went well today? What am I grateful for today? What do I want to improve on tomorrow? You don't have to do this every single night, but one small reflection really keeps you connected with yourself. That's why I love to do a quick little 5-minute journal at the end of the day. It is so important to end your day with gentleness and not judgment. And what I mean by that is don't go to bed thinking about everything you didn't do, everything you didn't accomplish. You need to celebrate what you did do, even if it was just surviving the day. Give yourself a little grace. We have busy lives. Sometimes we're not mentally there for everything. So give yourself grace for what you actually did and don't reflect on, oh my God, my day would have been so much better if I did this. No. Okay, now let's get into the vibe, the feel of your routine, okay? Your winter arc routine should feel cozy, calm, and intentional. You're not just creating habits, you're creating an environment that supports your healing. So if you need to rearrange your space, declutter, or refresh your surroundings, do it. Your outer world should reflect the peace you're building. And remember, it doesn't have to look perfect. This is not about looking perfect, okay? If your version of self care today is journaling with your coffee, amazing. If your version of self care is doing your skincare routine and putting on a mask, amazing. Whatever is self caring and healing for you, do it. It looks different for all of us. It's all about consistency, and consistency doesn't mean doing the same thing every single day. It just means showing up for yourself every single day. Your winter arc isn't just about structure, it's about rebuilding trust with yourself. Every time you make a small promise and keep a small promise to yourself, maybe you say, oh, I'll go for a walk, I'll make my bed, I'll drink more water. Your brain learns that words can be trusted again if you're following through with those things. That's how confidence grows, not from perfection, but from self trust. You're not trying to become a completely different person overnight. You're trying to become a slightly better version of yourself every day. So don't make your routine about punishment or pressure. Don't stress out. Make it about love. Make it about peace. Make it about honoring the version of you who's tired but is still trying. And if you ever fall off track, that's a okay. You're human. The winter arc isn't about doing everything perfectly, it's about showing up for your healing, your peace, your goals imperfectly, but consistently. Even one intentional act a day counts. Even 5 minutes of journaling or 5 deep breaths in the progress. You gotta remember, y'all, you are not behind. You're building, you're growing slowly but steady, intentionally as well. And when spring comes, you're gonna look back and realize that every small decision, every quiet moment, you chose yourself. Add it up to a little life that feels grounded, peaceful, and aligned. Okay, so now that we've built your foundation with reflection and routine, we got to talk about one of the hardest but most powerful parts of your winter arc, and that is protecting your peace. You can have all the vision boards, all the morning routines, all the affirmations in the world, but if your peace isn't protected, then it all falls apart. Peace is your power source, and protecting it, that's your daily mental workout. Protecting your peace isn't easy. It means you're gonna disappoint some people. It means you're gonna have to say no more often. It means you're going to have to stop explaining yourself for the choices that are keeping you sane. And that can feel uncomfortable, especially if you've always been the yes friend, the I'll figure it out person, the one everyone calls because you're the one that always shows up, but you can't pour from an empty cup anymore. This season, I want you to repeat this to yourself. My peace is not up for negotiation. You're allowed to prioritize your rest, your space, and your energy. Protecting your peace might mean saying no to certain things, certain events that might drain you. It might mean muting people on social media who trigger your anxiety. It might even mean taking a break from constantly being available. And guess what? That doesn't make you selfish. That makes you self aware because every time you protect your peace, you're telling the universe a few different things. You're telling the universe, I'm not available for chaos anymore. I'm not available for confusion. I'm not available for energy that feels heavy. You're creating energetic boundaries, and that is so powerful. Here's where it gets a little tricky. Sometimes when you start setting boundaries, people don't like it. They're used to you being accessible. They're used to you always saying yes, dropping everything, being the emotional support person. And when you pull back, it can make them a little uncomfortable. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because your growth is revealing where they've been comfortable taking from you. But the thing is, your peace is not a group project. You don't have to convince anyone that your quiet season is necessary. You don't have to justify why you're saying no, why you're staying home, or why you're taking time to heal. The people meant to be in your life will understand. The ones who don't, they'll fall away naturally, and that's okay. Let them. Because sometimes peace looks like distance. Sometimes it's unfollowing people who secretly make you question your worth. Sometimes it's blocking that situationship that keeps disturbing your healing. Sometimes it's saying, you know what? I love you, but I can't keep doing this cycle. That's growth. That's boundary work. And yes, it'll feel weird at first, but you gotta protect your peace. You might even feel a little guilty, maybe even a little sad, but you need to give it time. Peace is uncomfortable before it becomes familiar. And here's a reminder for you, peace isn't just about avoiding drama, it's about cultivating inner calm, that deep, unshakable feeling that no matter what's happening around you, you're grounded. That's what you're protecting. So when you're tempted to respond to that text you know will ruin your mood, or say yes when your body is screaming, please no, please no, please no, pause. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself, does this bring me closer to peace or does it pull me away from it? If it's the latter, that's your answer. You don't need to argue. You don't need to explain. You don't need to prove. Silence is sometimes the loudest form of self respect. Protecting your peace also means protecting what you consume. The content you constantly scroll on, the conversations you engage in, the energy you let in your space, it all affects your mental state. So you need to start curating your environment like your peace depends on it because it does. Fill your feed with people who inspire you, not drain you. Play music that uplifts your mood. Watch shows that make you laugh, not ones that trigger old wounds. Read self help books. Speak kindly to yourself out loud. You are the gatekeeper of your own peace. And listen, protecting your peace doesn't mean you have to live in isolation or never deal with problems again, okay? It just means you deal with them differently. You pause before reacting. You choose to respond from wisdom instead of emotion. You learn to rest instead of quit. That's emotional maturity. That's evolution. Because the peace isn't about having a perfect life, it's about creating a balanced one. So, as you move through your winter arc, remind yourself I deserve peace that doesn't require me to shrink. I deserve relationships that don't drain me. I deserve a life that feels like peace, not performance. When you get protective about your energy, your time, and your boundaries, your whole life shifts. You'll notice your anxiety lowers, your clarity increases, and your creativity starts to return. Because when your mind is calm, your purpose gets louder. So make peace your priority this season, not perfection, not productivity, not people pleasing, peace. And I promise you, everything will start to align naturally once your spirit starts to feel safe. Now that you've slowed down, set boundaries, and found your rhythm, the next part is where it gets a little exciting here because this is where you start aligning your inner world to the outer life you're trying to build. This is where your manifestation meets your inner work. Okay, yeah. Manifestation gets thrown around a lot online. You'll see those people talking about scripting, crystals, vision boards, all the things. And while those tools can be fun and powerful, manifestation starts way deeper than that. It starts with belief because you can't manifest a life you don't truly believe you deserve. So, pause, ask yourself, do I actually believe I'm worthy for the things that I say I want? Because sometimes we're manifesting on the surface saying, I want peace, I want love, I want abundance. But deep down, we're holding beliefs that say, I'm not ready, or I always mess things up, or good things don't last for me. That's where the inner work comes in. Because the universe or God or whatever you believe in, whatever you see, doesn't respond to what you say you want. It responds to what you believe you deserve. So if you're really in your winter arc, this is your time to rewrite the story. Take those limiting beliefs and talk back to them. If your mind says you're not enough, you respond with, I'm learning, I am growing, and I am becoming. If it says you always fail, you remind yourself, every time I fail, I rise even stronger. If it says you don't deserve peace, you affirm, my peace is my birthright. That's inner work. It's quiet, but it's powerful. Because when you shift your thoughts, you shift your reality. Your winter arc is the perfect time to visualize your spring self, that next version of you who's healed, grounded, glowing, and walking with purpose. Close your eyes for a second and imagine this person. What are they doing? How am I talking to myself? What habits do I have currently that I'm still working on? What does my day look like? And most importantly, how do I feel when I wake up in the morning? Because manifestation isn't about chasing something external, it's about becoming aligned with the version of you who already has it. You don't manifest it by wishing, you manifest it by embodying. You start walking, talking, and thinking like your future self now. I love to use a simple little scripting exercise for this. I use my journal and I write it as if it already is happening, like if I already have the life I desire. For example, I'm so grateful for how my life is right now. I'm so grateful for how peaceful my life is. My mornings are slow, my work is purposeful, my relationships are healthy, and I am finally in alignment. I trust the timing of everything in my life. Everything that is meant for me flows to me with ease. Write something like that. Read it every morning or night, feel it. Don't just say it, you have to actually believe it. And that's how you start shifting your mindset. And while you're visualizing and scripting, don't skip the inner work part, the part that's not as cute, but it's even more necessary. Do the journaling, go to therapy if you can, reflect on your triggers, ask yourself why you react certain ways. What am I avoiding? What needs healing? That's not negative energy. That's self awareness. You can't heal what you won't face. And once you start facing your stuff, the old wounds, the self sabotage patterns, the fears, you take your power back. You stop running from the pain and you start transforming into wisdom. Healing isn't perfect, it's about becoming whole. Now, this is where the magic happens, y'all. When you're healing and your faith meet, that's when your manifestation starts to show up in your life. Not because you forced it, but because you've become a match for it. Peace attracts peace. Confidence attracts opportunity. Gratitude attracts abundance. The version of you who's grounded with their worth doesn't chase, they attract. They move with quiet assurance because they know they're walking in alignment. And that's just the beauty of your winter arc. It's not just about rest, it's about rebuilding belief. This is your training season. You're planting all the seeds for your life that you've been dreaming and manifesting. So plant it intentionally. Speak kindly to yourself. Take care of your body. Nurture your dreams. Because when spring and summer come, all that quiet work, all those mornings you journaled, all those nights you chose peace, all those boundaries you kept, they're going to bloom into something powerful. You won't even have to say, I've changed. People will just feel it and see it. So, as you sit into your winter arc, remember this: you're not waiting for your dream life to just show up, you're becoming it. You're healing, releasing, aligning, and embodying the next version of you, one peaceful day at a time. And when you believe it, like truly, really believe it, the universe rearranges itself to meet you where you are. All right, y'all. So let's bring this all together. We've talked about what your winter arc is, that quiet behind the scenes era where you evolve without the audience. We talked about reflecting, releasing, reconnecting, cleaning out all that emotional clutter. We talked about building routines that make you feel safe and grounded. We talked about protecting your peace and doing the inner work that aligns you with your next chapter. Now, the thing is, none of this works unless you decide to actually live it. Because growth doesn't come from waiting for the right time, it comes from choosing this time, choosing you. So, this week, I want to give you a little challenge, something small, but something that'll kick off your winter arc. I want you to choose 3 commitments for this season: one for your body, one for your mind, and one for your soul. It doesn't have to be anything big. You don't have to go on a full on transformation. You just need intentional steps that honor who you're becoming. Let me give you an example. Body. Move your body every day. That feels good. Maybe it's going to the gym, maybe it's walking, maybe it's just stretching. Nourish yourself with good food that actually makes you feel alive. And prioritize sleep because rest is a form of self respect. Your mind. Do something that keeps you mentally clear. Maybe that's journaling each night, limiting your screen time, or reading one new book each month. Protect your focus by being mindful on what you consume online, in conversation, and in thought. Your soul. Feed your spirit. Maybe that's manifestation, maybe that's meditation, maybe if you're religious, that's prayer, maybe that's sitting in silence for a few minutes, just breathing in gratitude. Maybe it's forgiveness of yourself or someone else or of a situation that you can't change. Those are 3 little things. When done consistently, you will see a huge shift in your energy this winter. And listen, I want you to give yourself grace as you do this. You're not going to feel motivated every single day. You're not going to want to wake up and grind. Some days you're going to feel like shit and it's okay. Some days you're going to slip up. You're going to get tired. You're going to doubt yourself. That's okay. The winter arc isn't about being perfect. It's about just staying present. It's about showing up imperfectly, but consistently for your healing. If all you did today was make your bed, hydrate, and keep your peace, you're doing enough. If all you did today was pause before reacting or say no to something that didn't align, that's growth. You don't have to do everything all at once. You just have to keep moving, even if it's slowly, even if it's quietly, because consistency compounds. And one day you'll look back and realize that all of those tiny choices, the boundaries, the journaling, the quiet nights, built the peace for what you were praying for. Here's what I know: your winter arc is not a setback, it's your preparation season. It's your training ground. You are building foundations so solid that when your next level comes, and it will, you'll be ready for it. So take this season to rest and reset, to invest in your healing, to strengthen your faith, to fall back in love with yourself and your purpose. And when the spring comes, you're not just going to glow, you're going to radiate. People are going to look at you and say, damn, there's something different about them. And you're going to smile because you'll know it's peace. All right, y'all. That's all I have for you for today's episode of Boss Up and Glow Up. I really hope you enjoyed it. I really hope that motivated you to start your winter arc. I'm so excited to start mine. This week is all about planning my winter arc, and then I'm really gonna go deep into it when I get back from my trip because I am about to go to Iceland. So I didn't want to start my winter arc until I got back because it just makes sense. But if this episode spoke to you and if you're feeling inspired to start your winter arc, share this with somebody who needs this same reminder. Let's start this together. Remember, your glow up isn't about aesthetics. It's about alignment. It's becoming it's about becoming so at peace with who you are. You just love yourself so much more. I really hope you join me on this winter arc journey. Thank you so much for listening or watching. I love you so much. Bye.